Hey guys, what's up? It's Jules here for WhatCulture.com, and Extreme Rules has just happened last night. No, it's not the game that I play with your mums. There's my 1 per star ratings list, I guess, because this is indeed the star ratings for Extreme Rules 2018. Let's have a chat about it, because it was definitely an interesting one. But I'm not alone. I've got that tall glass of confusing sexual feelings that is Adam Wilbourn. Hello, my man. How are you?
Hello. I feel like a rainbow, mate.
Why?
I don't know, that's what Curtis Axel said. I still don't really know what he's talking about.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, this chemistry is about as good as the show was. Let's go.
You, Dave Meltzer.
Oh, you and this again. Get out of here, you cheeky man. Right, so let's start by talking about the B team versus the Deleters of Worlds. Now, this was actually an upset victory for the B team, who now are your new Raw Tag Team Champions. Not many people saw this coming, actually. I thought that they were just going to climb up the ladder, but not be able to reach the brass ring. But oh well, I've got egg in my humble pie. It was a slow, methodical affair to start with, mainly because of the fact that Matt Hardy looks like he's made of 3 brooms bashing together. There's something very wrong with his spine. But still, they managed to get quite a lot out of very little. It was nice to see Bo Dallas going up against his brother and getting his ass handed to him quite succinctly, but it ended with a nice finish of them pushing Matt into Bray. He falls out, then they score a cheeky little top rope neck breaker, I think Bo did, and then they actually stole the tag team champions. It was bread and butter, this match, which is why I'd give it 2.5 stars. However, I'm going to bump it up to 3 stars because of that lovely little promo they cut later on after they won, where they bumped into Roman Reigns and just said, you can do it because we've done it. In this day and age, Roman Reigns getting the rub from the B team. I like that. I like that a lot.
Why was this match on pay-per-view? Don't get me wrong, I love both guys. Finn Balor is obviously amazing, and Baron Corbin has excelled since taking on this Constable Corbin role, but this was the epitome of a Raw match put on pay-per-view just for the sake of it. And look, I know Constable Corbin is there as the representative of Stephanie McMahon, but does he have to literally say what the McMahons are thinking during the match? Just shouting "you're small" at Finn Balor for the whole time. The way this finished did nothing for anyone, did it? I mean, Corbin lost after dominating for large parts of this match because he's bigger. Finn Balor won, but he sort of looked like he got lucky, and you know, he can already carry this on into a run towards any sort of title. No doubt something's going to happen on Raw that will just completely negate everything that's happened. And for the fans, it was a bit of, yeah, oh look, Finn Balor's won. Right, we could have watched that on Raw, couldn't we? Nothing really matters with this. 2 stars.
Ooh, onto something really stinky now. Let's talk about Asuka versus Carmella and James Ellsworth. Yeah, it wasn't a great match. The question that I ask myself is, how do you disguise a severe lack of talent? You chuck a load of gimmicks in. It's what I do all the time with the hats and the catchphrases all the time. With Ellsworth being in the shark cage above to pull focus, dropping down more goodies out of his pockets than Santa with a hole in his knob, and not knob, sack is what I meant to say. And then you've got other things as well, like the fact that Carmella just screams all the time. She's not a technical wrestler. She is what you call a wrestler. I like her as a heel though, because she's a mouthy broad. I like that. She can get people to hate her very, very quickly, much like I do. Good heel work there. However, the match quality definitely suffered. When you got somebody like Asuka, who, let's not forget, was going up against Charlotte earlier this year in a match that was incredibly close and had people questioning whether or not Charlotte could actually ever undo her undefeated streak. And now we've got her basically banging her dome against some chrome and being out for the 3 count. It did nothing for no one, really, and just basically left Carmella just walking out saying, yeah, she's the best, she's defeated Asuka. When in actuality, we all lost a bit there. In that respect, I'm going to give it 1.5 stars.
Right, credit where it's due, this match got a big reaction from me, which not many of the matches at Extreme Rules did, so, you know, fair play. Right, we'll get the bad stuff out of the way, you know, sort of eat the vegetables so we can have the steak. Quite possibly one of the stupidest refs in WWE, and that is saying something. Nakamura did his trademark hoy to the dick. If that is not a move on 2K, I'm going to be absolutely furious. But what did he think had happened when he turned around and saw Jeff writhing on the ground before the bell had even rung? Has this ref seen literally any of Nakamura's last few months of matches? You can probably work it out. And Jeff, you remember when he was having this feud with AJ for months on end, and we were all there going, oh, AJ, wear a cup. Why didn't you wear a cup? You spent all that time on the makeup and the contact lens and stuff. Stick something down there, mate. We all know what's going to happen with Nakamura. Anyway, the match starts. Kinshasa, 1, 2, 3. Shinsuke Nakamura is your new United States champion. I like this as a way to start off a feud. Obviously, it sort of stumbled initially, what with Nakamura not being able to appear on SmackDown because I think he got attacked by a dog in an airport or something random like that. It works better with Hardy now chasing the belt. Obviously, Randy Orton comes out and is heel Orton. Heel Orton is the best Orton. Comes out, we all think he's going to go for Nakamura. He just gets in the ring and just goes, it's very on vogue to hit people in the dick, isn't he? So just stamps on Hardy's balls just to make sure he wasn't getting any at the end of Extreme Rules. I think a triple threat could be interesting at SummerSlam. I don't know if that's what's going to happen or how it's going to be followed up on SmackDown. I don't think I can really give this any stars because it was a match that was 6 or 7 seconds. So I'm just going to give it 3 punches to the dick. Make of that what you will.
What's going on with Kevin Owens? He's a man who wears a t-shirt that says fight everyone, but will not fight seemingly anyone at the moment. I actually did really enjoy this match, but it had a bloody rubbish start, and I'm not a huge fan of the storyline, to be honest, because effectively, the way that it's going on, Braun is effectively bullying Kevin Owens. However, let's talk about the match itself. So it starts off, it's in a cage. Now, what do you do in a cage? Well, I hear you say, Jules, you throw people into it. Well, good, because that's what you get for the first 10 to 15 minutes of this match. Using the cage every once in a while is absolutely fine, but when it's the only match moves that are going on, Kevin Owens bust out of that and managed to get a 5-star frog splash going. But then that didn't go anywhere. We did get the gimmick prop of the handcuffs and then him going up and basically mugging off in his face, but then he got turned into a mug when he broke free, and Braun just absolutely decimated him. Enjoyed the little comedy kiss he did. But then we get to the best bit, which is the huge bump that wasn't just his belly. He's put on a bit of weight at the moment. Maybe because he's a bit sad. He's come for eating that Sammy's off. But he took a huge bump off the top into the announce table down below. Seriously, that drop from the top right there, he's doing it blind. He's trusting Braun implicitly in that throw, and he took it so goddamn well. That's why Kevin Owens deserves better than this. But, to be fair, Braun Strowman is so over at the moment. He is liquid hot that he can do no wrong, and that sort of bump just once again confirms that he is the monster in the bank. Without the bump at the end, would have given it 2.5 stars. Bumping this up to 3.5. That entire bump was worth a whole star. I know, I'm a mark for bumps.
WWE handles subtlety, I think the same way that the Bludgeon Brothers handle a mallet hitting into a steel door to break someone's ankle. Just smashing through to make sure you really get the point. Daniel Bryan is an underdog. We understand that, but God, it's getting depressing watching him lose all these times, isn't it? It's just so one-dimensional, isn't it? Yes, it's nice to see him in a 2-on-1 situation, fighting against the odds. It brings all those memories back from a few years ago. What are you going to remember about this match in 2 or 3 weeks' time? The knockout, drag-em-out brawl that he had with Harper and Rowan, where they're both trying to attack him and he's just being good old Daniel Bryan, or the fact that they hit a great tag team maneuver on him and he just ate the pin, 1, 2, 3. Couldn't Kane have eaten the pin? He's like a 50-year-old mayoral candidate for Knox County with a dodgy ankle now, wearing a moon boot. No, Bryan has to lose because he's the underdog. I understand, contract negotiations are ongoing. You don't exactly want to stick a rocket to his back. He's going to be out the door in a few months. But this is meant to be the greatest comeback story of all time. Ask yourself if Shawn Michaels would have lost when he came back. Yeah, exactly. 2.5 stars. I'm one of those people that actually doesn't mind Roman Reigns in the ring. I do mind the way that he's presented and how he's pushed, but I don't mind him as a technical wrestler. I think that he is fine. He's a safe pair of hands and he can work well with pretty much anyone. Bobby Lashley, he's still a bit on shaky ground. I mean, like I said before in a previous video, he came into the WWE with all of the force of a marshmallow spear. He looked like he was going to do damage, but then did very, very little is what I'm trying to say. This matchup, in a feud that I really don't think that anyone cared at all about, they actually impressed quite a few people. It took a while to get going. They're two very sort of slow workers. They were feeling each other out, and they've got a limited moveset between them. So it took a while for things to get going. Lots of Irish whips, lots of bumping into the walls and stuff like that. But when things got going, actually quite tasty. And I don't think that many people saw the fact that Bobby Lashley was going to win with a spear. A single spear, might I add. Let's not forget, it was his move first, because it was an upset victory for many people involved, and the fact that it puts Roman Reigns into questionable positioning about where he's going to go next. I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. I like it.
don't want to see him fight again, but I liked it.
This should have been awesome. They've got all that backstage stuff most fans will know about, and they could just sort of weave that in with a little nod and wink to the camera. It's the first ever Extreme Rules women's match for the Raw women's title, and you've got that added element of Ronda Rousey sat ringside ready to just tear these two girls apart. And you've got Mickie James and Natalya there to just get this shit beaten out of them if you want to do even more spots. Yeah, it just fell to pieces, didn't it? I mean, what was Natalya doing when Mickie was just there passing kendo sticks to Alexa? I know you're Ronda Rousey's best friend, they quite like to mention that, but you're there with Nia Jax. Maybe go and help her out a bit, eh? And I really, really want Nia Jax to do well. But you can't even chuck people into bins properly. You really do need to be on point, singing from the same hymn sheet. And it looks like these girls were singing different bloody songs. It was just so clunky, wasn't it? There was spots that had to be repeated because chairs weren't inserted in the ropes or something, and then just people running around after each other, and we were all just waiting, thinking, for God's sake, just get to the bit when Ronda comes in. Save us. Leave it to the amateur to bring the professionalism into this fight. Ronda Rousey, again, looked bloody amazing. That face, I mean, you can't teach that, can you? That look that she gives people, Mickie James or Alexa or whoever, it just portrays so much. She comes in, she starts chucking Mickie James around like an empty tracksuit, and the match obviously continues. It was all about Ronda after that, really, isn't it? You kind of just go, oh, right, oh, DDT onto a chair for Nia Jax after Mickey's come in and hit her with a chair when she's trying to hit Alexa, and Alexa gets the 1, 2, 3. The match, terrible. Ronda Rousey, great. So, I don't know, 1.5 stars? Want to give it 1 star for the match because it was terrible, and a good few more stars for Ronda. But yeah, 1.5 stars. Put Ronda in the match. Get rid of Nia. Sorry, love.
AJ Styles cannot do a bad match, really, can he? The way that he works and the chemistry that he has with other people in the ring is something that only a few people possess. However, I do feel like the energy of this match was slightly off. Maybe he had to compensate for the fact that Rusev is a slightly slower worker than the most other people that he's used to. He doesn't have the immediacy of being like Braun's strength or Brock's strength that he can just throw him all over the place. But we got to see a different side of AJ as a result. We got to see him as the clever tactician, working on Rusev's legs, making him aware that basically he might be a behemoth in terms of size compared to him, but he could take him down if he works his weak spots. So that was quite good. And Rusev basically stepped up to the plate and knocked it out of the park. I do feel, though, that the WWE is fighting an uphill battle at the moment because of the fact that he is an immediate babyface. Everyone loves him. So when he has to go and get these heat moments where he slows it down and gets people sort of like booing against him, it does feel like it jars a little bit with his character. Unlike, say, the Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns, where it was slow and methodical that gained steam, this was kind of like watching people play chess. Everything was calculated and it had a big payoff at the end. I actually got to the point where I thought that Rusev was going to win. And I love it when matches can pull me in like that. He didn't, obviously. AJ retained, but that's fine as well because we got to see a good showing. And I like the bit where basically Aiden English undid the top turnbuckle, exposed that bit there, and then obviously Rusev goes in. And then when we saw the 450 splash, I just thought to myself, right, okay, there we go. There's my hopes and dreams dead because of the fact that he's not going to kick out of that. But he did! And then a bucket of water was poured all over it because of the fact that he lost moments later. It wasn't a great pay-per-view, but there were moments like this that really did establish it quite well. So for that reason, it was the match of the night for me. I'm going to give this 3 3/4 stars. You're welcome.
3, 2, 1. Good God, Pittsburgh. I've got mixed emotions about this the next day, you know. Because at the time, I was getting really angry, and I've seen clips on Twitter where even DOLPH and SETH are like in a chinlock going, what the bloody hell's going on with this crowd? I think they took the clock down or something halfway through to try and stop this. And whilst it is annoying, it's one of my real pet peeves when the crowd just get annoyed and start chanting about stuff that aren't related to the match. But when you've been fed this pay-per-view, it's almost understandable. It's not excusable, but it's almost understandable. I'll be honest, I wouldn't have expected this to be the main event. If you told me it wasn't going to be Reigns and Lashley, I would have assumed it was going to be the WWE Championship because, you know, that hasn't headlined a pay-per-view, a dual-branded pay-per-view, since the brand split. But okay, fine. The way they booked the match, it felt like they didn't know it was going to go on last either until the very last minute. Because, yeah, booking the babyface to go 3-0 up doesn't really give you a lot of wiggle room, does it? But still, that's what happened. Then obviously we have the pendulum swinging back the other way for Ziggler as a result of McIntyre's attack. We get an instant pin, then a super kick, then a zigzag, which makes it 3-all, and then Dolph goes 4-3 up because his feet are on the ropes and the referee hasn't got a bloody clue. Suddenly now we get lots of near falls. Now when the score is 4-3. Weird that, okay. And then in the end, Rollins gets 4-all after a roll up on Ziggler, and you think, okay, right, final few minutes, let's go for this, boys. And they did. It just was a bit of a weird ending, wasn't it? They do this almost every time in an Iron Man match, but it still gets me going when someone hits a finisher just as the clock is counting down or locks in a submission or whatever. He hits the curb stomp, I think, goes for the pin, and time has run out. It's a draw. It's the worst way to end a pay-per-view, and I obviously thought, well, this can't be it. Kurt comes out, restart the match. Okay, right, now I'm invested. Now it's sudden death. There's some real tension here, and then like 10 seconds later, after McIntyre interferes, having been banned from ringside, they've got instant replays. They could go to VAR, but they don't bother. Yeah, he comes out, distracts Rollins. We get another zigzag from Ziggler. Almost forgot his name there. That's a good sign, isn't it? And that's it. That's the end of your night. That's what they're going to send you home on. I'm invested. I want to see what happens going forward with these guys, and the story going into SummerSlam will be great. It just seems like, yet again, WWE overbooked nonsense. This was Ziggler's chance to prove all this talk about being main event worthy was true. And yeah, yet again, it falls short. And when you can't drag out a sort of decent match with Seth Rollins, you could be in a bit of trouble. I enjoyed it, it just didn't quite live up to expectations. 3 stars.
So there we go, those were the star ratings for Extreme Rules 2018. Let me know what you thought about them down in the comments section below, and as always, I've been Jules, you've been awesome. Adam Wilbourn's off about somewhere, probably doing what other ginger kids do, which is just avoid the sun. Anyway, speak to you soon, bye!